What's up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health and social well-being. And today is day one of week 4 of block 1 of my first block of this 6-block macro. Now getting back on more powerlifting specific focused training. You guys know, if you watched my, not last video, that was the stance velocity tracker video, but the video before that, you guys know what my training's been looking like for the past 4 months, where it was a lot more focused on just overall hypertrophy, right? So no need to get into like the details of that. You guys can watch that video if you're interested in that. But as I told you guys, the plan was to really focus on training that way for pretty much like 4 blocks, like the past 4 months. And now we're getting back to more specific training. We're still not back in the full swing of like the highest frequencies of what I was on before. And I don't think we'll necessarily need to get to that. And I'll kind of talk about what the layout looks like currently. But the plan is for today to take you guys just through what my day one looks like, show you the SBD work, the accessories, all that good stuff. Really, nothing's changed much in terms of the accessories because, one, I'm still training 3 days a week, right? I was training 3 days a week before the past 4 months. I'm still training 3 days a week now. The biggest differences are, instead of just high bar squatting once a week, I'm back to my low bar squatting twice a week. But on my secondary day, there is some high bar work, which I'll take you guys through that in a second. And then I'm back to deadlifting twice a week, but my primary deadlift day is on Tuesday, whereas my secondary deadlift day is today on the SBE day, right? And then I'm benching twice a week, with my primary day being on Saturday and my secondary day being on Thursday. So not even back to 3 times a week yet. I feel like we probably eventually will get back to that, maybe even already next block. But for right now, since I've been benching once a week for so long, it's like, well, let's see what I get out of just one. Not completely kicking myself on accessories the way that I have been the past 4 months, as well as just, going from 1 times a week to 2 times a week bench frequency. I'm going to see an uptick in performance already. So that's what things are looking like overall, and I'll take you through the actual structure in a second. But as far as the accessory work, like I said, not much has changed there either. We moved a couple movements from one day to another session. We've replaced a couple of things, right? And then some stuff just got dropped off completely. But the biggest difference with the accessory work is that, unlike the past 4 months, where the vast majority of my work was being pushed very close to or all the way to failure across all 4 weeks of all 4 blocks, right? Except for some of those bigger ones where I had to pace them a little bit more steadily. We're just not doing that anymore, right? We're back to the more usual swing of my accessories where I have structured, reps for each set. So a bunch of stuff, 3x12s, 3x10s, 3x8s, and let myself be at that lighter RP threshold earlier in the earlier phases of the block, close to like RP7, and then getting closer to RP8s and 9s on like the week 3s and week 4s, versus pushing like RP8 to 9 on weeks 1 and 2, and then outright failures on week 3 and 4 is the way I was the past few blocks, since I could do that the past few blocks because the focus was just hypertrophy. Whereas now we're trying to focus on top and performance against. We have the pacings a little bit more differently the way that we typically do, right? So those are the biggest differences, along with the fact that my heaviest deadlift is on week 3, not week 4, right? So I already hit my heaviest deadlift, right, on this past week 3 on Tuesday, and then I hit my heaviest squat and bench today. So my lightest deadlift is on week 4. So my week 4, my week 4 primary deadlift is basically like my week 1, if you will. So just staggering the deadlift and squat, because we know that worked really well from last year whenever we had the primary deadlift day on a different day than the primary squat. Hitting the primary deadlift day first before the next primary squat works really well for me. So yeah, that's pretty much the biggest differences. As far as the deadlift and how that went, so I'm going to briefly take you guys through what my day 2 looks like and my day 3, and then of course I'll take you guys through my day 1 here live. But for this past week 3, day 2, primary deadlift, heaviest deadlift day, I hit 200, my range was 240 to 245 kg, and I hit 245 kg for my top triple. Felt really, really good. Obviously, my best triple is 262.5, but that was coming off of a nationals prep. So I competed at nationals, had really high fitness, and then came into my first block of training, whereas this is coming off of a super low specificity block, where the heaviest deadlift I even got up to was 260 kg for a single last training cycle. So that's a really good baseline to have overall, right? So 245 for a triple. After that, I have I have 2 back down triples, a slightly heavier back down triple and then a lighter back down triple. So I hit 200 kg and then I hit 185 kg for my back down triples. And right now we're not back in deloading. So basically, you guys know before, typically where on the day where I have my heaviest top set is when I have my lightest back downs, right? So for example, today where I have my week 4 squat and bench, typically my lightest back downs would be on this day 2 to kind of back and deload. But things are light enough right now, and my body feels so good and healthy, especially just training 3 days a week and the extra mass I've been able to put on from the past few months, that there's just not really a need to back and deload right now. So my heaviest top sets and heaviest back downs and heaviest push my accessories are all in the same weeks now, right? So yeah, these were my heaviest back downs on deadlifts for the block so far. Then after that, like I said, I'm only benching twice a week right now. So instead of benching on the Tuesday, right now we have the incline chest press machine. My option was incline or flat chest press machine, but since I already can stack out the flat chest the Atlantis flat chest press machine for multiple rep sets, I'm like, okay, let's try to work up to that on the incline as well. So that's what we're doing right now. 3 sets there of incline chest press, 3 sets of 10. Then instead of the hack squat that was on this day before, now we're back to the belt squat. Once again, the hack squat is great for kind of building up some mass in the quads, but for making my squat feel good, the belt squat is better, especially since right now I'm not squatting 3 times a week. The belt squat's there in the middle to kind of supplement that, and maybe it stays that way. We may not need to go back to squatting 3 times a week. We'll see. And then after that, it's 3 sets of 12 on lat pull downs, 2 sets of 12 on leg extensions, 2 sets of 12 on leg curls, and 3 sets of 12 on single arm press downs. So easy, chill work there. And then my day 3 on Thursday is my secondary squat and secondary bench day. So I have a top triple on comp squats. This past Thursday, a couple days ago, I hit 175 kg for the top triple. Then I have a high bar set of 5, which I hit 160 kg for that. And then I have a back down high bar set of 5, which I hit 150 kg for that. Bench, my primary bench is just a top triple. I hit that with 132.5 kg. And then I have just 2 back down sets of 4 with 120 kg. So on the bench, not only am I only benching twice a week right now, but the volume is just very, very low. But it's higher than where it's been relative to the past few blocks. So we're just seeing what we can get out of that, on top of just not cooking myself by pushing on my pressing accessory work to failure. And we're going to see what we get out of that before bringing back in that third day, even though I think we might be doing that next block anyway. And like I already said, I'm pretty sure I said this a couple videos ago, but I have no intention of going back to benching 5 days a week. I am willing to bench 4 days a week if I need to. If I need to bring in a 4th session where I'm just benching and doing nothing else, I'll do that. But the fact that I was able to maintain like around that 160 kg strength threshold on once a week frequency by just pushing the accessories harder, even though I was pushing them like incredibly hard, I feel like if I just pace those accessories the way I normally do versus pushing everything to failure all the time and just have, 3 times a week frequency, I can get my bench back up to that 180 kg point and beyond off 3 times a week frequency. I feel very confident about that. So does Brad. So that's what the hope's going to be. As far as the accessory work on this day, it's just pull-ups, 2 sets of as many reps as possible. Instead of going all out to failure, I'm capped at a certain RPE each week. 3 sets of 12 on chest supported row, 3 sets of 12 on rear delt flies, and 3 sets of 12 on face pulls. So that's what training looks like right now for days 2 and 3. And like I said, I'm about to take you guys through what my day 1 looks like currently. It is the week 4, so heaviest primary squat and bench of the block. I'm pretty sure my range, let me see here. My range for the squat is just 225 to 230 kg, so that should move well. Be the heaviest that I've had on my back since my meet in December, but I think it'll move well based on how things have been going. And then my range on bench is 160 to 165. So no reason I shouldn't be able to manage the bottom end of that since I hit the 160 off once a week frequency. So I'm going to be hopefully aiming for that 165. We'll see how it feels, how it moves. And then, yeah, we'll just take you through, the secondary deadlifts and the accessory work once we actually get to the gym. But that is pretty much all I wanted to say to get you guys caught up with where we're at. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so we're at the gym, and I'm about to take pre-workout for the first time since my meet. I did not take pre-workout once the past 4 blocks before this one. Just didn't need it. But what's funny is my overall caffeine intake is higher. Because you guys know, typically the only caffeine I take is pre-workout on my week 4s, right? But, it took a while. It took, turning 32, having 2 kids, 4 businesses, along with a plethora of other responsibilities. But I'm finally at a point where I'm drinking coffee more regularly. Like, if I say more regularly, I mean like, I'll have I'll drink it 2 to 3 times out the week, which is nothing compared to most of y'all. But for me, that's a lot because I never had caffeine like that until recently. But yeah, we're about to get this pre-workout in, wake myself up. I'm also just tired because Thursday evening I flew into Ohio because Friday morning I was on the Dave Tate Table Talk podcast, Elite FTS, which was an amazing experience. It was honestly an honor, and I'm very excited for when that drops. Whenever it does, I'll make sure you guys know here on the channel as well. I'll link it. But I won't even say much about it. I'll just wait for it to drop. But it was a really cool experience. Dave was an awesome host. Really did his research as far as like the question he had for me, so it was really cool. But due to that, I also flew in late Friday evening, so steps for Thursday and Friday weren't the usual. Eating was still on point. I kept myself locked in on that, but sleep was So this pre's going to help his way out quite a bit. All right, let's go. All right, so as you guys know, I'm using the stance velocity tracker. You guys know from last video. And I noticed that my 70 kg was 0.68 in terms of the velocity, but last session was 0.81. And then my 120 kg was 0.67 compared to 0.68. Now, like I said in that last video, I know my body. So I'm able to take this data and know that that doesn't mean that I'm feeling worse or weaker. It just means that, hey, I'm not really being intentional. I'm not really locking in the way I need to be, which makes sense because I'm in the middle of watching one of my clients compete in Great Britain right now. On a live stream, I had a client competing earlier, and I watched him, and he did great. Now I'm watching another client, my client Nathan, and my client went earlier is Dami. Shout out Dami. So I knew I wasn't as locked in, so I was like, all right, let me lock in mentally, right? Let me really focus and really, tackle this one set in the way that I know I need to. Because it's week 4, so I know my speeds should be better than week 3 because I know I'm stronger than week 3. So I did for the 170, and instead of getting 0.54 like I did last week on 170 on the primary day, I got 0.60. So I know I'm good. My last warm up, I'm probably gonna take, my top set range is 225, 230. I'm probably gonna take like 200, 205 for the last warm up. So I think that'll be close enough to the 210 that I took from my top set last week to give me a gauge of how I'm feeling. So, should be good. So that one was great. 210 last week moved at 0.35, whereas 200 just moved at 0.41. Now obviously, it's 10 kilos lighter, I get that, but it's still a relative gauge in terms of knowing that I feel good, that I feel very on. So, with that being the case, I am gonna go with the high end of the range, 230, so I know I'm good for that. I feel strong, I feel amazing. And also just the fact that I am back to this wider stance. So on my secondary day, I'm still using the stance that I've been in for a while now. But you guys might recall in 2021, when I was PRing my total every single block, I had a wider stance for my squat. And that was actually the first time where I was thinking about going to 83. I was chilling like in the low 170s, and I felt really good. But the only issue is that even though it felt so good for all of 2021, when I eventually got back down to cutting down to 74 for the years 2022 and 2023, I kept with that wider stance. And it felt good, but it didn't feel as good. And it started to really like beat me up, especially once after Carolina Primetime, that was my last time using the stance that wide. Because that was a great meet, that was my best meet at 74. Got the 505 dots, the 700 kg total. And I also, I went crazy that day. Really good PRs. But my hips felt wrecked for 2 weeks after that. So that was my last 74 kg meet. So I brought my stance in closer so my hips could kind of heal up. And as I was gaining weight, I just found like, oh, because I'm heavier now, this closer stance feels a lot better than what it did when I was at 74. So I just kind of stuck with it. It's not the closest I've ever been, but it wasn't anywhere near as wide. And I just stuck with it for all this time ever since that meet in 2023. But I realized that, okay, well, the reason why that stance was being up more was just because I was smaller, leaner, and not as much muscle mass to support the wider stance, right? It's very similar to my bench. Like my bench feels better with a closer grip when I'm lighter, but a slightly wider grip when I'm heavier. Like when I'm heavier, middle finger on the ring would feel decent. Ring finger is still what's best for me, period. That's why I stick with that. But middle finger would felt decent when I'm like heavier. Whereas when I was lighter, as a 74, like pinky on the ring felt best. So I stick with ring finger just because of that balance of not being too long range of motion, but still feeling relatively stacked. But I was like, okay, well, I'm heavier now. I'm like walking around like the heaviest I've ever been consistently now, right? So let me go back to the wider stance, see how it feels, and it feels fantastic. So I know it's also playing a role with how good I feel because it's not taxing my back out as much. I still feel stacked and stay in my quads. So yeah, I say all that to say this 230 should move pretty well. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Just in time.
What's up, boss?
Good stuff.
Yeah, felt good. All right, that moved incredibly well. I mean, it felt like nothing on my back. Just felt incredibly light. Every warm up and all the way to the top set, everything felt good on my back. So what we're doing on the secondary day on Thursday is working, as far as just the priming of it. And yeah, it just felt smooth. Keeping in mind that 210 kg is the heaviest squat that I've had since last training cycle, right? And it was high bar. So like I said, that's the heaviest I've gone on squats, especially low bar, since my knee, and it felt incredibly comfortable. And the speed of it was 0.30. So the fact that, you know, it's 20 more keys compared to last week, and I only dropped down by 0.5, and kind of like I talked about in that last video, I know for me, my speed in my week 4 top set will be slower than my week 3 top set, even though all the warm-ups will move faster just because of how much heavier the weight is, but that's not a huge speed drop off at all. Like that's still very solid as far as velocity. So yeah, and like I said, for me, I'll be honest, bro, the velocity does like slower, faster, as long as it feels good, that's all I care about. But it's just cool to see those trends being in alignment with the velocity. The velocity trends in alignment with the data that I expect, even before starting to use velocity tracking. So really happy with that. So now I got these back downs. All right, guys, squat back downs, very, very easy, very, very comfortable. Those were the heaviest back downs of the block, as well as just the heaviest back downs that I've done in months, because I wasn't getting up to that heavy for back downs on my high bar squat the past 4 months, obviously. But I just feel good. Like the most I felt on my squats today was a little bit of just soreness in my erector on the left side, and that's just from the fact that I already hit the highest exertion deadlift of the block. That's it. But I feel really, really good. So that was chilled. Let's see how bench moves. All right, bench, very similar to squats, where my first 2 warm-ups were slower than last week, and I was like, all right, let's be more intentional, and then my 140 was faster. My 140 warm-up last week was 0.19. Today was 0.25, so I'm about to take 152.5, which is 5 kilos less than my top set last week, see how that moves, and then see what's there within the range for 160 to 165. All right, so top set did not go quite the way that I wanted to. But the good news is, I mean, that's the best that 160 plus has felt in my hands on the way down, off the chest in months, as you would expect from just going up from once a week to twice a week. But, I mean, Michael said it immediately, like as soon as I got up, he came up and told me, and I felt it where on the way down, right off the chest felt good, but then you can see my shoulders like come out of position. And I think it's just, I just got to reinforce the pattern again, especially since the past 4 months I was benching with a closer grip as well. So just getting back used to my comp grip, as well as just, even if we don't add the 3rd day back in yet on bench, which I'm sure Brad will, especially after I send him this, just getting more volume in that secondary day, really reinforcing that proper position, and also just getting a little bit higher intensity on that secondary day to better prepare me and practice for this day. But I'm not mad at it. Like, I mean, it felt good. I'm just not back to that yet, which is fine. It's the first block. And honestly, my bench is just something I'm not worried about, because we have so much room to add into that as needed to get that to feel better. So It's all good. We're gonna stay intentional. And I got these back downs, and then get into the accessory work. Well, no. Secondary deadlifts, then get into the accessory work. All right, so got the bench back downs. Everything moved well. It all felt a little bit harder than well, I can't even say than what I wanted to be. It all moved about as difficult as it should be since the first block back. My fitness is only so high, and I have not done that type of workload for sets in 4 months. But we'll build it up from where we are. As for secondary deadlifts, these are the heaviest secondary deadlifts of the block. Once again, there is no back and deload, so I already took the heaviest primary deadlift day. Now this will be the heaviest secondary deadlift day. Heavy, right? Because it's only 195 kg, so I don't expect this to it's not actually heavy, but it's probably gonna feel somewhat difficult just because it's opposed to the heaviest squat work of the block. But the cool adjustment that we've made with this is instead of what our secondary day was before, which is like a 3x3 or 3x4, we've tried everything, right? We've done like heavy RDLs on a secondary day. We've done, a top set of deadlift that's RPE based, but we've done the most benefits from just keeping this day as a light secondary day, just straight sets. But instead of being 3 sets of 3 or 3 sets of 4, it's just a 3x1 now because we don't need to do much. We just need to do enough to practice and feel in groove. And between that and the way that I'm approaching my squat right now, it's just keeping everything better balanced and healthy between the squat and the deadlift. I'm not cooking one or the other too much, right? So this should be smooth, a little 3x1. Just gonna record this set. And then after that, no more talking. So I wanna just lock in, kill the accessory work, and get out of here. All right, guys, we are done. And we did well, progressed load on everything from last week. We did 90 more pounds on leg press compared to last week. We did 15 more pounds on weighted dips compared to last week. And then we did 5 more pounds on lateral raises this week, 5 more pounds on curls this week. And I showed y'all the first set of each thing, so as y'all can imagine, by those third sets, I was really feeling it. But we managed to get through everything, hit all the sets and reps as assigned. And it's only the first block, right? So it's only gonna get heavier from here. But yeah, I mean, I'm feeling, bro, y'all can see it, bro. Like I'm gonna be real. There will be no shirtless videos or pictures until the end of this macro cycle, because I'm trying to show y'all a real difference. But I mean, y'all, look, y'all see it, man. Y'all see it. I don't even have to take the shirt off, bro. Y'all can see how crafted we looking. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, today was awesome. This week has been really, really good. Deadlifts were awesome. Squats were awesome. Bench, not as awesome, but we'll get it where it needs to be. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I have to decide what we're gonna do as far as how often I'll be taking you guys with me through these sessions. I think as we get closer to the end of the training cycle, I'll make it more frequent, but right now that's it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go leave a comment down below, let me know what you did. If not, leave a comment down below, let me know what can be better. Like the video, share, subscribe, keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch you guys later.